Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me. This is another one of those, I'm talking quietly because my son's asleep in the next room. It's been kind of a super hectic, crazy week. Oh, there's a lighting stuck on my mirror. And I was not able to film this. I really wanted to film this video, especially just get one more quick video out this week, but also I had mentioned a video about all of, oh, I gotta be quiet. About the Anastasia palettes and just kind of my quick thoughts, especially for those who have never used them before. And so yeah, I am a little quiet. He's getting sick, so he really needs a good nap. But yeah, hopefully I can get through this. So we are going to be talking about all of these beautiful, beautiful palettes. Now I am wearing one of them on my eyes today. I'm not going to tell you which one yet. We will talk about that at the end. But I've been kind of going back and forth about how exactly to do this. And I decided I'm going to start and go from the one I think is the most versatile for everyone, or the one I would most recommend if someone's like, okay, I'm just getting one to start with. Which one should I get? The one I would recommend first to the one I would recommend least, and I will talk about why. Now, I am not including the subculture, even though it is still available, because I don't recommend that one. I have it. It's pretty. I love the concept, but it's just not user-friendly. Yeah, that's all I'll really say about that. And I'm not gonna include, I know sometimes you can still find Prism, which was last year's holiday palette, but I'm not gonna include that. I'm just gonna include really in my idea there are 4 best palettes out right now, all available right now. So what I will start with is the one that if someone were to ask me, okay, I'm getting one, which one should I get? The Soft Glam. This is possibly my favorite palette that I own, which is saying a lot because I own a lot of palettes. I love this, and it's funny, it was one of those things kind of like Sultry, if you saw that, my review of the Sultry palette. When I first saw this, I was like, all right, been there, done that. Okay, that's cool, whatever. But I have used this more than anything. I love it. You can go very great for all day or for every day. Natural Warm, these 2 shades are really pretty here. For like a shimmer, but just a softer, and when I first saw it, I'm like, those are so much the same, but they're really not. This one's much more yellow. That one's got like a pink shift to it. And then I really like that you can actually go rosier, especially with this mulberry kind of in your crease and using it with this one here. And then these 2 shades, you can really get a bit of a cranberry rosy look if you'd like with this, or you can do gold. These are really beautiful, like much more pigmented, shiny. I wouldn't say pigmented. These are very pigmented. They're just different types of shadows. Just beautiful for more glam. You have this color Noir if you want to go and deepen it up. Again, get a little more glam, do a little more smokier. The Cypress Umber, such a great color again for deepening. This is a really, really good versatile palette. And again, it's probably the favorite palette that I own, which is saying a lot. Yeah, I really, really like it. And this was when I first got pregnant last year. I went on really a makeup no spend. I went for a really long time, probably the majority of my pregnancy, not buying makeup. For one, I wanted to buy stuff for my son. For 2, I wasn't interested. Like my mind shifted, right? I was in baby buy mode. I had gotten a gift card for Christmas, and I decided I wanted to just spend it very well. I held on. Actually, it wasn't for Christmas. It was, I worked at a daycare, and someone got me a gift card when their child graduated to go to kindergarten, and they got me a gift card, and I held on to it for probably almost 6 months because I wanted to spend it properly. I didn't want to regret how I spent it. And finally, I looked up reviews. I went to the store and looked at it, and I realized this was a palette that I was going to use all the time, especially becoming a mom. I needed something easy that blended well, but that actually had lots of looks that I could do. And this, especially when I first, my first couple months, if I actually wore makeup, it was this. So really, really good. I just spent 5 whole minutes talking about that. The next palette is the Modern Renaissance. Now, some people definitely will question why I recommend Soft Glam at a Modern Renaissance. Honestly, it's just a personal preference, which is funny because I love these cranberry colors. You can do orange. I think for me, it's like these 2 shades here are pretty much the only shimmers, and they're beautiful. But I sometimes want that like bam in your face shimmer on my eye. And the Soft Glam has that and this one doesn't. But again, they both are really, really good for everyday to something a little smokier. This one also doesn't have a matte black. I'm always iffy. I don't use matte black as much as a lot of people. However, if you really want one very well-rounded palette, a matte black is very important. So there's those, I'm trying to, the best way. There's those side by side. Now, a couple things to know about these 2 palettes. They cost the same amount of money, but the Soft Glam has an 18-month shelf life, and each of the palettes, the pans are slightly different. I wrote it down, but 0.74 grams each. The Modern Renaissance shelf life is only 6 months. I have had this for much longer than 6 months. I will continue to use it. I have palettes that are way past shelf life. But if that is something that's a concern to you, that is something to be aware of. I honestly haven't gone into depth about the different formulas and why that's different. I just didn't have the time to do that, and I apologize, but I just didn't. But I do want to let you be aware of that. And also these pan sizes are 0.7 grams. Each pan size. So you're getting ever so slightly more with this one. All right, on to the next one. And that is actually the Sultry palette. I love this palette. I just got it and I've used it a lot. But it is a little more challenging in the sense that some of these shades you do need to use a little bit more carefully. So there's a little more fallout. I don't hardly ever get fallout with either of these. Sometimes with the Soft Glam if I'm not careful, maybe with those 2 shimmer shades, but not like this one and the next one. So again, that doesn't bother me, but you really need to want more smoky looks or be more okay with you have to use your finger, you're going to get fallout, so you need to be careful to either bake if you put your makeup on first or put your face makeup on last and do your eyes first. So just something to think about. That's why this one is number 3. However, if I were to pick the 2 that I would probably end up using the most, it would probably be these 2. I will probably use this one more. I like how many shimmers there are just because that's the kind of looks I go for. And I like how well you can blend and go from really light to quite dark. I like that. That's my personal. But if I am recommending for others who have never gotten an Anastasia palette, they're just getting into it, honestly, these 2 were kind of like splitting hairs. It really depends on what color scheme you like. If you want more of those bright cranberries and you don't care about the like more shimmery shades, then go for this one. These both, it's like the same formula. They blend like a dream. They work really well. They go on beautifully. And it doesn't mean the other one doesn't, but I feel like you can go more everyday to smoky. And really it was a difficult decision. And the main thing was that this one had a matte black and a couple more shimmers, and this one had has a shorter shelf life. But it was like splitting hairs. Either of these 2 phenomenal picks. Now, the Norvina palette. This is, I think, it's funny. Anastasia, whenever I see their palettes in marketing, it seems like almost every time I'm not intrigued. And then the more looks I see with it and the more I research, I'm like, oh wait, what was I thinking? I love this palette. This is my favorite. Because I did that with Soft Glam, Sultry, and this one. I don't know. Yeah, that's what happened. Anyways, This is, now when people first look at this, they think, oh, it's a pink or purple palette. It's really quite warm toned, and there's only like this pink and this purple. I mean, this does, it's like a taupey brown, so it does have a tendency to lean a little bit more pink. And then this one is obviously like a burgundy shade. And this is a pink, pink, pink. The Dazzling is like a really pretty shade with like a pink shift to it. Beautiful. But this one, and as I watched reviews, even people who do makeup and do YouTube and do reviews for a living, so many people said, I just don't know what to do with this. I see one or two looks. Now, I didn't have that issue. However, I think the majority of people, if they're going to buy something, will end up getting confused by this. Partly because it's not laid out yet well. I think they should have shifted some of these shades here. It would have made a little more sense. The color story itself is beautiful, but it just doesn't lend itself when you immediately look at it like, oh, those shades go together. I think it was to inspire creativity, to show you, you know, you can use this orange and this purple, and that's okay, and it's gonna look really good. But I think for most people, it's hard to see it, and I understand. I get it. The other thing with this one is, again, you tend to have a lot of fallout, and I find this shade here, which draws a lot of people because it's such a unique shade, is kind of difficult to work with sometimes. So that was really why, honestly, all of these, like I said, the first two especially, are like splitting hairs. They're really all what I think when you're getting a palette is the most user-friendly. If you want to just get one to start with and you don't know which one to get, you're going back and forth. If a specific color story like screams to you, then go for it. If this shouts out to you more than the Soft Glam, get this one by all means. You will not be upset if you see a bunch of ideas, if you see what you can do with this, get it. Absolutely. Oh yeah, another thing. The Sultry palette is slightly more. I know in Canada it's $4 more. But, and again, 18 months shelf life, 18 months shelf life. This does have 0.83 grams per pan. So you actually are getting slightly more shadow, so I did just want to mention that. All right, so yeah, so those are the palettes. I feel like I was kind of scattered doing this, but I hope that maybe helped some, made a little more sense. But yeah, this one, I find some of the shades are a little harder to blend. It is a much warmer palette than it looks. This is actually what I have on my eyes. So I'm actually using this palette today. And I love every look I have ever gotten with this palette, but I just think if you're only going to get one, it's not the one to go for. The same with the Sultry. If you think you're going to do more smokier looks or glam looks, then again, by all means, go with this one. But for the most user-friendly, work-friendly, anything like that, I would say either of these two. And if anyone were to ask, Soft Glam is the first one I would go with, but go with the colors that you like the most. So let me know what your favorite Anastasia palette is. Have you tried any of these? Are you wanting to try them? Which appeals to you the most? Again, I want this to be a community. I want to talk. I want to share. Let me know what you're thinking. If there's any other videos that you would like me to do, if you want me to go through maybe some Too Faced palettes or Tarte or whatever and kind of compare and say my thoughts on those, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I would love for you to join my community. It's small, but I would like us to grow, and we can do that with you. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye!